Hello friends, Tanya here for Spellbinders, and this is day 4 of the January 2024 releases. I'm going to be playing with the Monster Birthday Collection, in particular the Birthday Dinosaur, and with the Kaleidoscope Garden release. I've got this adorable dinosaur. I'm going to cut that out with 3 different colors of cardstock. I've got a lighter green, a darker green, and a crumb cake piece, or a craft piece. Boy, my Stampin' Up! Roots are showing today, aren't they? I also took some Gathered Twigs Distress ink and this little ink blending brush, and I'm going to add some shading to our back legs. These are the pieces that we're going to adhere to the back of the dinosaur, so it's going to be the legs that are further away, and to the top of the dinosaur's back and around the neck and head area, adding some extra definition and some color differentiation. And it also is going to highlight those embossed spots on the dinosaur's head and body. I am using the same color on all 3, and I think it actually works very well with all 3 of these different colors of cardstock. I did use some Distress mica stain spray on these cardstocks. On the craft colored cardstock, I believe I used Unraveled. I may have used Unraveled on the green also, but it might have been one of the darker greens like Tree Lot or Juniper Berry. Is that one of the newest ones from the Christmas? And then probably, what was it? Wicked Elixir or not Hocus Pocus. Bubbling Cauldron, maybe, on the lighter green. I do use my Distress mica stains on a larger piece that I'm going to ultimately need for any one project, and then I put the extra in my rainbow of paper scraps for use on a future project. This has worked out very well for me so that it saves me a little time when I want to make something. I just dig through that file and find a color that I might like to use. I have taken some white cardstock, some scraps of white cardstock, cut them to roughly squares that fit behind the circle for the eye, and then I add the pupil. It's just an adorable little accent to make these big-eyed, sweet little dinosaurs look even more sweet. I chose to use different colors for the plates on their backs, or the spikes, and I only put the plates or spikes on 2 of the dinosaurs. The 3rd dinosaur is going to have some other elements that the other 2 do not. I'm placing these legs on our dinosaurs, following the embossed lines on the legs, which I did try to show a little bit ago on with a close-up. It's a little tough to see in the video, but it's much clearer in real life. Here we're going to put an eye on our 2nd dinosaur. He's almost complete, he or she. And then our 3rd dinosaur, we're going to put our little legs on, and honestly it was the easiest to see the embossed lines on the legs for this dinosaur. And I did have to make sure that when I was lining these up, you can line them up in ways in which the legs do not sit at the same level, so it looks like they're high stepping, which maybe is the look you're going for, but I was trying to keep my legs pretty even, so I was keeping an eye on how level they were with the other legs. Next, we're going to add some eyelashes to this dinosaur. I think this is super cute. There isn't a very specific spot you have to pick, so you could put these eyelashes wherever you think they look good. This is about where I liked them, and they're overlapping the little indentation for the eyebrow a little bit. Now we have this crown of flowers and greenery that we're going to add to the top of our brown dinosaur. And I did initially put the glue on the greenery and then realized that wasn't going to actually connect with the dinosaur's head. So I put the glue on the dinosaur's head and then applied the greenery. I did die cut the flowers. There's one die that cuts 3 flowers all at once. And I cut that from some ink blended cardstock that had an array of yellow, orange, and red or pink ink blended on it. So I have a bunch of flowers to use on this card in a variety of colors. These little black dots are cut out with the pupil and the eyelash. They're 3 little odd shaped dots, and I take them to be for the centers of the flowers. I did choose to go ahead and use black for the centers. I think that really pops, and it coordinates with the feel of this project that I'm creating. Next, we have some little branches. These were cut from mica distress stain sprayed, the distress mica stain sprays. Also, this was on like a jade green or a light, it's a bright green color that has a blue tint to it, and created those little branches. I'm carefully applying those to our little garland on her head. I think it's fun to mix up the designs of your different critters on your cards, and I could have gone even further. I could have put little groupings of flowers on some's heads, could have put branches on others, lots of ideas. One of the first ideas I had for this Kaleidoscope Garden press plate, for the letterpress system, was that I thought it looked like great prehistoric foliage. So I'm going to foil this on a piece of Waterfall cardstock. I did cut this cardstock down to 5x7 with the intentions of making a 5x7 card. I have centered one edge of this Kaleidoscope Garden plate on the cardstock, and I have some green foil here. I made the hinge with my, this is some really well-used tape strips, and so they weren't sticking the best. I put it on my heated platform, and while it's heating up, this is the cardstock that I used. It is Waterfall Spellbinders cardstock. I found that the Spellbinders cardstock really takes foiling well, which is fantastic because I have struggled with other brands of colored cardstock. It's nice to know that you can just pull out the cardstock and not waste time experimenting. This has worked perfectly for me. So when the first foiling was done, I just went ahead and lined up the second foiling, and I do have new tape here, but I didn't do my hinging very well. So I'm going to lay down the green foil and lay the plate over the top. I already know that it's placed in a good spot, and I'll put my hinge back on. We'll run this through after the platform is heated up and the timer has gone off, and there is our second foiling. So I've covered an entire 5x7 piece of cardstock with that foiling. Next, I decided to add some inking on here. This is Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide ink, and I have a mini ink blending tool here with the domed sponge, and I am getting a nice layer on the bottom. And then I took Broken China Distress Oxide and another ink blender. I do have a dedicated ink blender for each color, and I do have them separately for oxide or pigment or hybrid, and for dye inks, because they do not play well on the same ink blender. I did buff off the extra ink from the foiling with a dry cloth, and I decided that I wanted an extra layer of cardstock behind these dinosaurs for a little extra height and dimension. Not shocking, right? Well, I decided I also needed to even the layers out, so I'm trimming some green cardstock because that's what I cut out the backs for. I decided I did not need to match it completely. I just dug through my paper scraps, found a green that would work for both, and that I had a lot of scraps of, and I'm trimming little chunks off of the scraps of cardstock from the piece of cardstock I used to cut those two dinosaurs on the left. I'm only going to show you this once. It is kind of it seems kind of slow, but that's because I usually cut it out. It's just a unnatural part of my crafting for me to add these little pieces of cardstock behind things. And I'm sure it's no more time consuming than if you used foam squares and trimmed those down. So I've adhered that extra layer of dinosaur behind that, and I did that for all 3 layers. I added extra cardstock behind this main scene element also. I'm adhering that to a 5x7 card base. I had trimmed the background panel down to 4.5 by 6.5 before I added the extra cardstock behind it. Now we're going to place our 3 dinosaurs on this background. And I kind of feel like I wanted some little hills or something in there, but I didn't want to take away from the foiled background we created. I thought it was really a cool background. And then I decided to pull out the Action Wobbles. Man, these are so cute. I've had the same package for a really long time. And it looks like I had an extra few that I maybe got in a kit that I put with these mini wobbles. I always want to call them Action Wobblers, but when I was trying to search for them, I was quite quick to find that it's Wobbles, not Wobblers. I do have a link in the description box below where you can get some Action Wobbles, and they do come in 2 different sizes, and they actually come in some pretty affordable packs. I love that they create this stand-up wobbly feature, and my grandkids just adore this. Next, we're going to use the You Are Everything Sentiments Better Press plate with die, and I actually have several sentiments left from my first inking and die cutting of this. I've only inked and die cut it once, and I'm amazed at how well I am able to continue to use the sentiments. So I've started with this card is full of birthday wishes because I thought this would be a perfect birthday card for a youngster. And then we're going to take the inside sentiment, which reads, a little something to make you smile, which I think works in just about anything, except maybe a sympathy card. That probably wouldn't work. And there are sympathy sentiments in that sentiment set. Now I'm taking the leftover flowers from earlier, and I'm going to adhere those to the inside of the card. I have 1 of each color left because I had cut 3 of each to begin with. I'm applying the little centers because I have enough of those also. When I was die cutting 3 dinosaurs, it cut out 3 sets of eyelashes, 3 sets of flower centers, and 3 pupils for our cute little dinosaurs. So I had the perfect number to do this. 1 more grouping of 3 flowers. Add the centers, and that will complete my card. I've really enjoyed doing shorter videos. I'm hoping that this is a trend you all enjoy also, and that the numbers or my analytics will support this. If it does, I'll keep doing it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed these adorable little dinosaurs, please make sure you give this video a like. If you aren't subscribed, now is a great time to do that. If you're interested in any of the products that I used today, they are listed and linked in the description box below as always. And there is a visual link that will take you to the full link list with thumbnails so you can see what you're looking at the same time. Here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy, and until next time, bye-bye.